The Daily Mirror have just stated that Spurs are plotting a move for Crystal Palace and England star Eze. He has a £68 million release clause. Reports are stating that Spurs are preparing a move for former Tottenham Hotspur left-back Dennis Cirkin, currently with Sunderland. And Gray, Odobert and Tell are all through to the European Under-21s Championship semi-finals, and their games will be played on Wednesday. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another episode of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start with a report from the Daily Mirror. They are stating that Tottenham plot Eze transfer as Manchester United and Liverpool impact three-man shortlist. Spurs boss Thomas Frank is ready to turn to Crystal Palace talisman Eze as Manchester United battle for Bryan Mbeumo's signature, while Liverpool are interested in a move for Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo. The Daily Mirror then go on to say that Tottenham could explore a move for Crystal Palace and England star Eze as they look to strengthen their forward line. Spurs boss Thomas Frank has prioritised a wide player in the transfer market, and the club have made a £65 million plus bid for Brentford star Bryan Mbeumo and made inquiries on Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo. They have also got Crystal Palace star Eze on their list of potential targets and are long-time admirers of the England international. It has been widely reported that Eze has a £68 million buyout clause in his contract, which would be seen as great value in the current market. Crystal Palace will be desperate to keep hold of the 26-year-old, who has just enjoyed the best season of his career by helping them win the FA Cup and potentially get a place in Europe. Tottenham weighed up a move last summer, but ultimately Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish said he was surprised they did not receive any firm bids, but after enjoying such an impressive season, Eze is likely to attract firm interest again this summer, and Spurs are in the market for a wide player. Tottenham remain keen on Bryan Mbeumo, but face major competition from Manchester United, who have made a £55 million bid for the Brentford forward. Thomas Frank has a strong link with Mbeumo from Brentford and will be keen to bring him in, but the forward has been keen on going to Manchester United. That deal is still a possibility for Spurs, but they remain determined to strengthen. The report then goes on to say that Tottenham have made inquiries about Antoine Semenyo, but Bournemouth do not want to sell after losing Howson to Real Madrid, while Liverpool are closing in on left-back Kirkes. Bournemouth will demand around £70 million for Antoine Semenyo, and Spurs are now exploring options as they look to bolster their squad for the new manager and also ahead of a season back in the Champions League. They also made Matisse Tell's move permanent, but now could sell captain Heung-min Son before the end of the window, with strong interest from the Saudi Pro League in the Tottenham captain. The Northern Echo have just reported that Spurs are preparing a bid for Sunderland defender Dennis Cirkin. Spurs sold Cirkin to Sunderland back in 2021, with the 23-year-old now having subsequently developed into a first-team regular whose performances were a major factor in the Black Hats' promotion back to the Premier League. The terms of the deal that took the left-back to the Stadium of Light included a buyback clause enabling Spurs to re-sign their former player, but that clause has now lapsed. But Spurs are now keen to renegotiate a new deal for Dennis Cirkin this summer, partly because they regard him as a young player with considerable development potential, but also because they need to sign homegrown players to ensure they comply with the UEFA's rules for next season's Champions League. Now, back in the January transfer window under boss Ange Postecoglou, Spurs tried to sign PSG forward Kolo Muani. Now, L'Équipe have just stated that Chelsea have now entered into negotiations with PSG to sign Kolo Muani, who was heavily linked with Manchester United and Tottenham earlier this year. PSG spent £76 million to sign the French forward from Frankfurt in 2023, but are now ready to cash in less than 2 years later. Colchester United have just signed Jaden Williams following his release by Tottenham. The 20-year-old made 4 EFL trophy appearances for the Spurs under-21s team, 3 of them last season when he scored from the spot in a penalty shootout win against Bristol Rovers. He is Colchester's first signing of the summer transfer window, and the club say he has signed a long-term contract. He scored a hat-trick for the Tottenham Hotspur under-21s team against Blackburn Rovers in Premier League 2 last season, and he said, "I feel ready. I've been wanting to play men's football for quite some time. I feel like Colchester United is the best opportunity for me to develop and to be one of the best." Now let's talk about a number of Tottenham Hotspur players on international duty. The European Under-19s Championships are over now for Mikey Moore and Reece Alexander Russell-Denny after England were eliminated in the last match of the group stage on Friday evening. A 4-2 defeat to the Netherlands in Romania, coupled with Germany's late win over Norway, sent the young Lions home. England, who drew 2-2 with Norway and 5-5 with Germany in their opening 2 matches, would have qualified for the knockout stages if the latter nations had drawn on Friday, but Germany's stoppage time winner sent them through into second place, while the Netherlands topped the group. Central midfielder Reece played the full 90 minutes against the Dutch, his second start of the tournament, while scoring against Germany, and saw a late effort saved when the score was 4-1. Attacking midfielder Mikey Moore was forced off injured in the latter stages of England's opener against Norway, just after scoring a penalty to make it 2-2. He missed out on the Germany clash, but was named as an unused sub against the Dutch. Germany play Spain, and the Netherlands face host Romania in the semi-finals. Mathys Tel fired France under-21s into the semi-finals of the European Under-21 Championship with a late winner against Denmark on Sunday evening. The forward collected the ball on the left-hand side before cutting in and curling a superb shot inside the far post to make it 3-2 in the 85th minute, completing a stunning turnaround after Merlin had hauled France level just 60 seconds earlier. It was Mathys Tel's second goal of the tournament, as he was joined by Wilson Odobert in the starting 11 for the 3rd game in a row. Mathys Tel completed the full match, while Wilson Odobert was subbed in stoppage time. The result in Slovakia saw France book a semi-final date with either Germany or Italy on Wednesday. Archie Gray's England under-21s also made it through to the semis with a 3-1 victory over Spain on Saturday. Archie Gray started the Young Lions' first 2 group stage games, a 3-1 win over Czechia and a goalless draw with Slovenia. Being withdrawn after 64 minutes in the latter, but was an unused sub in the midweek 2-1 defeat to Germany. And in the quarter-final against Spain, England will now face the Netherlands in the last 4 on Wednesday. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode. Let's start by talking about the report from the Daily Mirror. They are stating that Spurs are plotting a move for Eze, £68 million release clause. I've also seen various reports stating that Spurs could pay Crystal Palace in instalments. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. We have been linked with this player since 2019, since he was a QPR player, and I'm a big admirer of Eze, and I think that he would fit in perfectly well to this Tottenham Hotspur team, and I feel like he would really improve this squad as well. And to be honest, I've wanted to sign him since 2019, and I haven't understood why the club haven't got this deal done, because he is a classy player, and he has really improved during his time at Crystal Palace, and is one of the best players in his position in the Premier League, I feel. And this report from the Daily Mirror even stated it is a low price in today's market, £68 million for a player of this calibre, someone of this quality. I feel like this would be a really, really good move for Spurs. I know that Tottenham like to get deals done and pay in instalments. If they could get this deal done and pay in instalments exactly how they like, then why not make this happen? Because Spurs really do need to strengthen for Champions League football next season. And of course, I'm going to say it again, Daniel Levy and the board have come out and said we want to win the Premier League, we want to win the Champions League, and you're going to do it with teams like Eze, because he will definitely improve the team somewhat. So yeah, I really do hope this happens. There's a long time to go in this transfer window, but it would be nice as a Spurs fan to see the club making moves in this transfer window and planning for the future, definitely planning for next season, because I feel like there is a lot to do, especially when we are seeing a lot of other teams. Certainly, the teams finished in the top 5 in those Champions League spots via the Premier League positions. They have made moves already. They are signing players. They have big plans in place, and it would be nice to see Spurs get some early deals done over the line. And most importantly, not just any old deals, our first choices and statement signings. And I feel like a player like Eze or Mbeumo, would be a real statement signing for us. Players who have been proven in the Premier League. We know that they can do it in the Premier League, and they have delivered season after season, particularly last season, because Mbeumo and Eze had really good seasons last year. Spurs are preparing a move for former Tottenham Hotspur left-back Dennis Cirkin, who has, of course, left in 2021, went over to Sunderland, has done extremely well at Sunderland, and now Spurs are having to think about the squad for homegrown players, etc., for the Champions League squad next season. There is also talk about Kyle Walker-Peters being re-signed by Spurs later on in the window for this exact reason. I said at the time when Dennis Cirkin left, I was really surprised, because he was one of the best players at that point in the development side. And I was a little bit disappointed to see him leave at that point. And I'm not at all surprised that Spurs are interested in him again. The Kyle Walker-Peters one would be an interesting one, because Kyle Walker-Peters at the moment is available on a free transfer. So he wouldn't actually cost Spurs anything. And we know that he has good Premier League experience. Tell Odobert and Gray through to the European Under-21s Championship semi-finals. Great to see those players doing well, and Tell on the score sheet yet again. Of course, he has signed that permanent deal at Spurs, a long-term deal as well. I've spoken about him a lot on the channel recently. He's definitely got a spark about him. He's definitely got something about him. But of course, it's going to take time for him to develop, but doing extremely well in the under-21s. Kolo Muani, apparently Chelsea are interested in him. Of course, Spurs and Manchester United came very close to signing him in the January transfer window. Of course, under Ange Postecoglou, it didn't happen in the end. But I do feel that Spurs definitely do need to strengthen in that final third and do have other options. If Richarlison goes out the door, then obviously we need to replace him. But I feel like we need another striker or certainly another forward player that can play in that central role, to free up Dominic Solanke sometimes, because he is such a hard-working player, and I do feel like we need more options in that area. Jaden Williams signing for Colchester, wishing him all of the very best. A very hard-working player and good in front of goal as well. And I feel that he will be good at Colchester, so wishing him all of the very best. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Have a great week. Stay safe and well. I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.